Alright guys, I'm back, and now let's check out what's upstairs. Sorry for the delay with all the videos. I've been slowly upgrading my computer and my equipment. I just recently got a 120 gigabyte solid state Samsung drive, so I reinstalled my OS onto the solid state to make everything run just insanely faster. It's crazy how fast it is. You don't even think about it. You don't even like realize how fast it'll be until you actually do it. And it's surprising. Like, I heard that there would be a speed boost, and I've been looking for something to make my computer faster, and this just drove it through the roof. The best part about it is the startup. Like, it literally will, it starts instantly. You hit the power button, you blink, and then bam, you're in the startups. Your Windows is already started. It's so great. So here we are. We found a white chest, and we got the final elemental emblem, which allows us to use the ice element. Hey now, Luigi, what have you found here? Let me see it. Oh, it's an ice element medal. Now you can use the ice element. Ice elemental ghosts are found only in chilly places. You'll probably find them in refrigerators and cold areas like that. My research shows that they come out of hiding when you approach them. Use the L button to expel the ice element once you vacuum one of these ghosts up. If you press the L button all the way in, you can shoot out a frigid lump of ice. Yes sirree, when water gets cold it freezes, right? Ice can be very effective against water. You could use it on water ghosts, for example. Even a hot bath would get cold pretty quickly if you iced it down. Yep, that's a very convenient item you found there. So he was just talking about what ice can do, and he also was giving you a bit of hints there, because maybe some of those scenarios might show up later on in the game. See if we can get a boo. Ah, we lost him already. So this week they announced the Xbox One, and last week actually, sorry, and so many people were, I don't know, mixed reviews, mixed feelings. I'm not even sure how I feel about the Xbox One. I have all three systems, the Wii, Xbox 360, and the PS3, but I honestly mostly play my Xbox One. I prefer the controller. I don't mind paying for live because of the features and just the more of a community, and it's more focused on online multiplayer. And also, to be honest, a lot of people say that they've had so many issues with their Xbox and this and that, and I honestly, the Xbox, the issues didn't bother me as much compared to the PS3. Like, my PS3, I have the original Metal Gear Solid 80. Who's calling me? God damn it. Well, I'm not answering that. I had the original 80 gig PS3 from when it launched. That played PS3 games, and that played PS2 games. And I've had so many issues with that system, whether it be laser not reading or my hard drive failed on me a couple times. And people can say, yeah, you know, an original launch product, you know, technology can be quite iffy. We're not sure how long it'll last, such and such. But the Xbox had those same issues, but nobody gave Xbox that benefit of the doubt. So it's, both systems had their issues. I just prefer the Xbox, and also that my friends play. All the people I know mostly have Xbox, so it's just, I'd rather play with people I know than just random strangers. Also, party chat is something that PS3 Sony needs, because not everybody wants to play the same game together. But you do want to just chat, talk for a bit, hang out. But yeah, the Xbox One is interesting because it seems like they're going for a more family-friendly kind of console that, you know, everybody can use, not just the hardcore gamers kind of thing. And that's fine, because Nintendo did that and it went amazingly well. And Sony tried getting that whole, we're a media center, not just a system. And now Xbox is trying to do that, which can be fine, but I've heard a lot of people have their fears. They complain that, like, oh, it's gonna make the Xbox One not a hardcore console, it's not gonna have the best games. I would argue against that, just because if the Xbox One sells so well, yes, there's gonna be more crap on it. That's not gonna take away the developers that have already built a fan base on Xbox, and the developers who know about all the Xbox fans. So here's an old lady who's knitting. We gotta throw balls of yarn at her to kind of get her upset. But the yarn is not cooperating with me. I'm very excited about how the Xbox One can basically have all that multitasking and that features, and I know a majority of that comes from what they're saying is the Microsoft SkyDrive, and so you will, if you don't have internet, you're basically not going to have the full features of the system, which is not a problem, because in my opinion, you know, internet has come to a place now where almost every device we have lives off the internet, and a majority of its features come from the internet. So if you don't have internet, you're not getting a majority of the features anyway, like smartphones, data packages, tablets, all sorts of stuff. So for you to buy an Xbox or a gaming console that focuses and builds itself on internet and not have internet, you won't be getting majority of the features anyway, minus the SkyDrive. So really, if you don't have internet, Microsoft is telling you that this is not the system for you. It's a bad marketing scheme because it'll affect sales, and you know, in a business, your main goal is to try to sell as much as possible. So you should try to appeal to everybody, not just one market or the other. But my big complaint with a lot of this has to be the used game issues, because I grew up with a family who did not have a lot of money, and so before I had my own job, I didn't get many games, if games at all. It would be Christmas, my birthday, and you know, maybe when like I finished a school year and I had a high report card, and it would be like, all right, here's a gift, congratulations. So for me to get a game, most of the time I would have to rent or buy used. And I understand renting has gone the way of the dinosaurs, and renting is pretty much extinct now. But that doesn't mean that used games should go that same way, because it seems like the gaming industry is blaming all their shortcomings and downfalls on the used games, when that is not the issue. Used games have been around just like DVDs, Blu-rays. Like, imagine if they did a DRM on Blu-ray movies, where once you bought a Blu-ray movie, it was linked to that Blu-ray drive, and if you ever got a new Blu-ray player, you couldn't watch it. And people would argue, well, movies are different than games, blah blah blah, but it's the same theory. People borrow movies, people have more than one system, people play, people travel, people bring their systems with them when they travel, so you're just making things a lot more difficult. But my opinion is, they feel that used games is the issue, why they're not making as much money, why sales aren't as high, why a lot of companies have been going bankrupt, like THQ and others. But I feel that it's the game industry in itself that causes these companies, because marketing is a big thing with gaming and with any business, and it's not being marketed properly. They hype a game up to an extent to get more sales, which is fine, but they also understand that gaming is not a necessity. It's a pastime. It's recreation. So not many people have a large enough expendable income to spend $60 to $80 per title, especially on a game they're not sure of. So a lot of people will wait for a used game or borrow it from their friend to see if they like it, and then if they like it, then they'll go out and buy it themselves. Like, a perfect example is, I have XCOM, and I told my friends about it, and they were like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," but they weren't too sure about it. But when one of my friends came over to play XCOM, he saw it, and he was just like, right away, he was like, "Wow, I gotta go buy this," and he actually went out the same day and bought it. So that I inadvertently made a sale for that game XCOM. So that wouldn't be a problem. And that actually helped that company, if anything. But with with this kind of thing, used gaming and stuff, I wouldn't have never been able to, let's say, let my friend borrow it or test it out or whatever, and he would never have been able to get a copy of the game without just spending the money blindly and maybe not liking it. So that's just like one example of it, but mainly it's the whole pricing scheme. $60 for a new title, a AAA title like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, you know, the already established names is not a problem because people will pay it because they know they're getting something that's worth their money, they know they'll enjoy it, and they'll buy it. But when a lesser known game by a smaller publisher or company comes out that people aren't too familiar with, comes out priced at $60, it's just not going to sell. Like, Dead Island launched at $50, and even then that was a bit too high, because Dead Island had a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Had a very small following. Like, I personally did not like Dead Island. And maybe some people did, and those people would have gone to buy it, but the amount of negative publicity that Dead Island 1 got really hurt its name, so they said, okay, we're going to sell it at a cheaper price. But $50 was still too expensive. That should have been a discount title at $40. At $40 plus tax, anybody would have gone and purchased that game just to give it a try, because it's a zombie game. But it's $50. I noticed, even where I work, nobody purchased Dead Island. It was like one of the biggest bombs of this year so far. And there's so many games throughout history that have done that, and that have turned consumers away from a company or a system or a name, and they would never try it again. So to regain that consumer confidence in gaming, you have to entice the consumer to say, hey, here, try it, let's give it a shot, here's a discount, here's a coupon, here's a sale, do this, do that, come to us. But instead, right now the gaming industry is stuck on a $60 price tag of $60 or nothing. If you're retail and you're going to be on store shelves, you have to be $60. And it just doesn't work anymore. It's not there. That kind of faith in gaming doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, you can argue, you know, when Super Nintendo and NES was around, there were cartridges for $80, $100, $120. But Nintendo learned very quickly that pricing every game exactly the same would not sell. You should price accordingly based on the product. And Nintendo has been doing that amazingly. When a Mario game or a Zelda game or one of their main titles comes out, you see it right away. Yep, it's $60, no questions asked, and people will buy it because they know they're buying a quality title. They're buying a Mario or a Zelda game that has been worked on by some of the best people in the industry. But when a smaller game comes out, or a lesser known name, like the new Mario Game & Wario game coming out for Wii U, people are unfamiliar with that series. They probably never played another WarioWare title, and so they're launching it at $40 to get people interested in it enough that they will say, hey, for $40 I'll give this a try. So they are working their pricing around the consumer to get that kind of consumer confidence back in them, especially with the horrible prices of Wii right now. The horrible sales of the Wii. So used games, in my opinion, is not the industry killer that it is. The industry needs to really look within itself and see that just the way the industry works right now is not what consumers want, but consumers are stuck with it because they don't have any other option. Now, we've cleared a few rooms, and I think it's time for me to end this episode. So I'll end it off with this creepy boo poster telling me to get out, and I'll see you next time.